All right, Johnny, how are you today?
Good, Stu. Another week, another puente.
Yeah,
How are
well,
you?
that's it. Another long weekend. That's it. I don't know whether it's a point this one because only Monday's the holiday, so I don't think people are going to get that extra day off.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they have the Monday off, but I think, yeah, maybe the term puente
I,
refers more to when it falls
to be honest,
beginning of the weekend. There's an additional day, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. That's right. It's just a long weekend, as they say. That's right. Monday holiday for I think they call it All Saints Day, don't they?
Yeah, All Saints Day. It's celebrated in a lot of Western Europe.
Is it?
Well, yeah, mainly the West and the South. I think the northern countries maybe not so much.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm aware of France, Belgium, I think, yeah, a couple of countries in
Yeah,
Eastern
yeah.
Europe as well celebrate it. Yeah,
And it also coinciding with Halloween.
yeah, yeah. So people can have a party on a Sunday and not have to worry about the
That's right.
consequences
That's
on
right.
Monday.
The local Chinese shop was full of people buying costumes. That's where you pick them up nowadays.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. Back in the UK, there's a store called Magic Box. I'm not sure if there's an equivalent here in Spain, but it's a
Don't
very
know.
popular place for costumes.
I have no idea, but I'm sure somebody will tell us if there is in the comment section. All right,
Yeah,
good. What's on the agenda, Johnny?
yeah. So let's start with Madrid and Ayuso. So
Oh no,
she
what's she done
wrote.
now?
So she's announced her budget for the Madrid community. But what stands out above everything is tax cuts that she's introducing in this ongoing war, it seems, between Madrid and the central government
Yeah,
on the tax front.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
essentially, yeah, so the cuts she's giving essentially in each of the autonomous community brackets, because remember, the tax in Spain is broken down partially by a state imposed tax rate and the autonomous community rates. So she's cut each of the brackets by 0.5%.
Yeah, well, like you said, she's stepping up the war that she has with the central government, whose objective at the moment is to increase taxes, and I think they would like every autonomous community, the 17 autonomous communities, to be on board with that. And I think they were talking about some type of tax. Can't remember the exact word they used, but like an
Fiscal
evenness. That's
harmonization.
right. Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah,
fiscal harmonization. That was
yeah,
that was the word. That's right. Yeah,
yeah.
where they want to get everybody on the same level so that there's not an advantage of coming to live in Madrid or moving your company to Madrid, which is obviously what is happening with the lower tax brackets here.
Yeah, completely. I mean, you can see it from the government's point of view, so they can get a more balanced. Can you hear the police siren? Sorry, I can.
Where are you, in New York or are you in Madrid?
I'm in you. I'm here, but this police car's going down all the time. I'll,
That's all
I'll
right.
I'll start that bit again. So, saying it makes sense from a central government point of view. Obviously, they want to try and spread the attractiveness of business across the country and not have it focused in Madrid or in other parts of Spain as well. But yeah, it's an interesting one. Madrid constantly pushing for lower tax
Yeah,
rates.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's been the secret, I think, to Madrid's success over the years, and that's what the central government is angry about, that they have been able to attract those companies to come here because of a sweeter tax setup, and the central government is trying to. I mean, they even said a couple of weeks ago, Johnny, I don't know whether you saw it, but they said that they were going to take government bodies out of Madrid and move them to other areas of the country in order
Oh,
to try and develop those other areas as well, some of the smaller cities around the place. And of course, Ayuso was very angry with that. She said there's a campaign against Madrid, and it does seem that the central government is trying to take away some of Madrid's strength.
yeah. Wow, I did not see that one.
Mm.
And yeah, a bit of a shock. But I've heard a lot of I've seen critics as well who criticize the central government's approach, saying that if they pursue a fiscal harmonization strategy, they should do it based on what Madrid's doing.
Yeah.
That's what some people say.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could argue that I have seen that other countries at the moment, the way they're trying to recover is by lowering taxes. A way to get people to spend more money. Here, that they're going in the opposite direction, and I think that's what some people are asking the question whether it is the way to go forward. Because the government has this huge plan for the budgets, and one of the things I think I even saw in some cases VAT, or EVA as they call it here, is going to increase by up to 10% on some products, So they're getting, it's not a good time from a tax point of view, I think. No.
Yeah, I mean, when you compare autonomous communities, I put an example on a video on my YouTube channel. When you compare someone who makes the same salary who works in Madrid and someone who has the same salary in Catalonia, the person in Catalonia, I think they pay a few €100 a year more in tax because of the tax. I think Catalonia as well is one of the higher tax autonomous communities as well.
It could be.
Yeah.
So that's the what was it called, fiscal harmonization, which is not working because of people like Ms. Ayuso. No.
Yeah,
that's it. She also said today, I think she accused the central government of being the most authoritarian government since the dictatorship. So she's really on the front foot, taking it up to them.
Yeah, strong war of words. It's always a war of words in Spanish politics, though.
Yeah, well, it is until something serious happens. But let's just hope it stays a war of words and not something more serious. Let's hope. Yeah. All right. Good. What's next?
So next we've got what is called in Spanish morosidad bancaria, which in English I think we said bancaria.
Okay. So what did you say the translation was?
So we said it was default rates.
When people can't pay back their loans, basically, right?
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, and so the rate has increased versus last month. Last month it was at 4.39%. It's gone up to 4.44%. I'm not sure if this is the first time it's increased. It was actually on the way down during the pandemic, surprisingly. Probably because a lot of the financial institutions had guarantors behind a lot of their loans, which meant that they were less exposed to the risk. Yeah. I don't know whether you've noticed it, but the banks do seem to be pushing a lot of money at customers at the moment. I've noticed on my bank that I have an automatic click and you get a loan for a certain amount of money, which seems to increase every month for some reason. It started off at a fairly low amount and it sort of goes up every time I check. So that's the money I can get. The interest rates are high, of course, but I do get the impression that banks are pushing a lot of money onto people, and of course when people have easy access to credit, obviously the rates that you're talking about do go up. Yeah, the ones that I've noticed. So yeah, I've definitely seen personal loans being pushed. I've seen when you're looking for a mortgage, you get a lot of advertisements for mortgages as well. And we talked about it in a previous episode as well, is being able to pay in installments as well. Yeah. Well, I think you mentioned something about that, and I think I said there was a new company that's been set up to that all of the banks are trying to get involved in, that give people more an easy way to pay things back, especially some of the bigger purchases on their credit cards. But again, another way of getting you into debt. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think we spoke about revolving credit cards. I think, was that something that you mentioned? Yeah, exactly. Where the balance just keeps ticking over if you don't pay it off. That's right, and you never pay off the debt. That's it. But it is worrying, because I remember when I first came here back in I came in the late 90s, but in the early 2000s, when there was a lot of cash being thrown around here in Spain, I remember the banks were doing the same thing back in those times, and they would send you credit cards in the mail. You didn't ask for a credit card, but you would get one in the mail. And a lot of people were buying houses that couldn't afford houses, of course. And again, let's hope that some of those mistakes are not being repeated. Yeah, let's hope so. Yeah, time will tell. Yeah. All right, good. Interesting fact about how much debt that represents as well. It is about 53 billion euros. 53 billion euros. Yeah, and so what's taken into account in the statistic is the number of people who are late on 3 or more payments, I think it is. Yeah. Who have 3 or more unpaid installments of whatever their debt is. Okay, so whether it be a car or a mortgage or... Yeah, or a credit card or... Yeah, okay, good. Kind of things, yeah, that's it, good. Yeah, so let's hope that it doesn't increase further, or we start to get into problems in the system. Yeah. All right, good. All right, what's next? Next, we've got the recovery of flights at Christmas. So the aviation sector is starting to maybe see a recovery. So the number of flights that are planned by airlines now is above what it was pre-pandemic. However, the occupancy rate of flights is still quite low. It's at about 70%. And as a result, they're not expecting a full recovery until 23, 24.
Okay. We're talking long haul or short?
So we're talking various kinds of flights. I think we're talking mainly tourism, but the guy who was talking about the recovery of the sector and why it won't be till 23 and 24, he mentions business travel as well.
Okay.
Because obviously with virtual working and travel restrictions worldwide, some companies are hesitant to approve what may be considered unnecessary travel in some cases, if it can be done virtually.
Yeah, well, that's it. I suppose that the business travel that a lot of people had before, I mean, I know people that were travelling on a weekly basis, and that's all been cut back, and they're working from home. And obviously companies save a lot of money, don't they, when you can do these things virtually. Did you have a lot of travel before in your business, Johnny, or not really?
Yeah, I had a few trips actually. Although I was only with the company for a few months before the pandemic hit, so I didn't get to fully take advantage of all the travel that was planned.
That's it.
But yeah, I haven't traveled since as a result.
And can you do the same thing online? I mean, what's the difference between a business trip? So let's say you travel from Madrid to Paris and meet with a few people there and do your business. I mean, can you do that equally as well online as you can in person?
In terms of achieving the task and the objectives that you want to do, you can. However, I think what you probably miss is kind of the face-to-face interaction and the relationship building aspect, which comes as part of a business trip as well.
Yeah, obviously you can't get that online, can you?
Yeah, well, you interact with the people, but it's not in the same respect. It's much more focused on what you're doing, and yeah, you miss out on aspects of the conversation that you would have in person.
Yeah, well, I suppose the whole concept of business trips was the lunches and the dinners that you throw in there as well, and the socialising aspect of it as well with your foreign colleagues, and that's something that obviously hasn't been taking place for the last 18 months or so, but not expected to recover until 2023, you said.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's in terms of traffic or if it's in terms of kind of the economic recovery of the sector. Perhaps a bit of both as a result, because I suppose one would drive the other.
Yeah. Well, I suppose people are hesitant. I mean, I've heard, I don't know this firsthand, but I've heard that even public transport is still something that people are not willing to get back on quickly. So I can imagine people are not jumping on planes anytime soon, like they would have done before, you know?
Yeah, well, there's a lot more complications when it comes to planes. I've only flown twice since the pandemic, and both were within Spain. I've not flown internationally since.
No, yeah. But what I mean is that people are still a little bit hesitant because of the health situation, let's say, and you never know what's going to happen if you do go to a foreign country, whether there is going to be some type of restriction put in place. I mean, I'm hoping that's not going to be the case, and I don't think it will, but I mean, we saw it recently with people that went to Morocco, do you remember? And they shut the borders, do you remember that?
When they couldn't repatriate people
that's
back.
It. Yeah, that they were on a ferry or something, weren't they? Or I can't remember exactly what the story was there, but that was just that was a neighbouring country. So
yeah, I remember the story was there was a lot of Spanish people who'd gone on holiday, and then Morocco shut the border, and I think the government had to intervene for the repatriation flights, and then equally Moroccan citizens who couldn't return to Morocco were essentially stuck wherever they were.
And I think that was even this year. Obviously, the pandemic was in a different situation than it is now. But I mean, you wouldn't want to hop on a plane to Brazil and get stuck there, you know?
Yeah, hopefully not. Well, I mean, you could if you're stuck on a nice beach, then maybe.
Everything has its pros and cons. But of course, I mean, you don't really want to get stuck anywhere. But talking about this, countries like Australia still haven't opened their borders. I think New Zealand is still closed. So for people like me, Johnny, international travel is going to be a little while away yet, and unless those countries open their borders, which hopefully will be in 2022.
Yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed. Yeah,
that's it. All right, got anything else?
That was all for today.
All right, Johnny, a shorter one today, but we were brief and to the point, I think. So we'll wrap it up and we'll be in contact for next week.
Great.
All right, Johnny,
Good chat,
see you later.
Stu.
Have a
Speak
good
to you
day.
later.
See you later. Bye-bye.